record this and put it up on YouTube as well. Here's what I'm shooting for with this video. I want to show some basics of modifying vehicles in BeamNG. Now, what I'm going to do is spawn into the plane grid map. It's the fastest map to load. In the world editor, it's, I think, represented as a 1 cubic meter space with grid floor, but then in engine it's loaded this way. So anyway, so what we have here is the Burnside that I chopped the roof off of. Now it's not done. You can, if you look close, you can see some spots where there's like gaps and stuff in the mesh, and some texture stuff that needs to be cleaned up, like right across the top of the windshield there. But in, you know, an hour or so of effort, I was able to chop the roof off of the Burnside. And there's still some beams I've got to work out too. There's 2 right there that I got to get rid of the nodes, bring them down to the same height as the other side. But effectively, it's a convertible now. Of course, it just spins the tires like crazy on that on the stock tires. But so let's flip it over and show what that change in beams does. So you can see it's laying as if there's no roof there. Shut the engine off. Because there is no roof there. Not only is the mesh, I really need to do something about that mirror. Not only is the mesh not there to draw the roof, the mesh for collisions, the beam structure, is also gone. Alright, so how do I go about doing this? Let's pick a different car. Let's see. Let's chop the roof off the Roamer. So I'm going to make some assumptions that you're already comfortable with finding things in BeamNG, like finding your files and stuff. If you're not, there's lots of information out there. It's not terribly hard, but in content vehicles, in the root of the application is where you want to go find what you're looking for. And here we have the Roamer. We're going to actually capture. There we go. Alright. So you were in Steam apps and all of that, right? The root of the actual application. Then we're going to copy that to here. And we'll open up that archive. And you'll see a vehicles folder. If you go inside that vehicles folder, then you'll see the Roamer folder. And we're going to drag the Roamer folder out here into our vehicles folder. Now we have the Roamer folder, right? So if we load the Gavril Roamer, it's going to give us the options we can pick from. Let's go with the V8 4-wheel drive XT, whatever. But now we're going to go into the Roamer file, or folder rather. So this is what we get for that vehicle. It's a big SUV, medium SUV, I don't know. I drive, real world, I drive a compact SUV. So anyway, you'll notice in here that there's a couple of different files to play with. We've already kind of talked about J-beams in some of my other Twitch streams, but what we're going to do now is the DAE, which is a collada data file. And there's a plugin for Blender to import those. Not going to go through how to do that. If you're that dedicated, you know, start hunting for it. You can find what you're looking for, I promise. Alright, so window capture is now supposed to be on Blender. Alright. Wait. Come on. Alright, so this is the model of that truck body. And I'm going to set some things up so we can see what's going on. Here in the right hand side you've got the list of all the components. Now some of them the names are a little goofy, like backlight is actually your back window. Don't ask me why, but it is. Body can be a couple of different things, but typically is going to be the unibody structure or the space shell structure for the car. And then all of your other panels, your doors, your hood, your windshield, all of that other stuff attaches to that. So what we're interested in right now is we're going to take out, and we're not taking anything away. You just see we're undoing the eye, and that makes them not visible in the editor because we don't want a bunch of stuff in the way. So now we are down to just the body shell. And if we select it and then go to edit mode, we'll see the wireframe superimposed over the model, right? Now, if I wanted to make a convertible out of this, there's a super easy, quick way, which is the war truck chop, and that takes out A-pillars and everything. But I want to retain the A-pillars on this one. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to delete those vertices. And then once we're through that cut, we're going to delete those vertices. And you can see we're pretty even cut across right at the top of the windshield, and that's what we want. Now, and yes, there is a hole in the mesh there. We're going to worry about that in a bit. Now, what we can do is we can start chopping pillars. You see, you just chop it close to the body like that, and you want to be careful to just get above the body. So like right here, if I chop that out, it's going to leave a hole, but I'm okay with that. There's a little bit more I can cut off. Take that out. Alright. And you work your way around the vehicle like such. And you can select big chunks like that and do away with more of the roof if you want. We're going to do Bob Ross car hacking. That's what we're going to call it. It's your vehicle. It's your imaginary battle wagon. Do what you want with it. If you want to make it, a half roof like the old Scouts used to have, you could totally do that. Just don't cut as much off as I am. Alright. So now we've got a roofless vehicle. Now, those holes in the mesh are actually really pretty easy to close up, as long as you got clean cuts. But we're not going to worry about that right now. That's like detail work, and you don't have to do it. We're going to export the Kaleda file to Vehicles and Roamer, and we're going to replace the roamer.da, which again, DA extension denotes that it's a Kaleda model file. Well, now we are going to free roam, and let's pull up super tiny grid, and we'll see what it looks like. Let's get a vehicle. Gavril roamer. We wanted the V8 4x4, and you can see we have no roof. Now, fun thing, because the cars are built modularly in this game, there's still parts there that we didn't account for, like the roof rack and the sun visors, and somehow I've broken the texture for the rear view mirror. That's what that bright orange means. Probably just get rid of it. So that leaves us with the next couple of things that we can do. In the game, you can go through and remove parts, which is actually what I like to do a lot of the time. It's fast and easy. We're going to go to body, and we're going to take away the glass, and we're going to undo the roof rack. And we're going to undo the door glass on all of the doors. And we're going to take the tailgate off. Now it looks a little bit more like what we probably expected. Still not 100%, but it's getting there. And you can see that hole in the mesh is just invisible, see-through in the game. See the top of the windshield? But it's like a razor thin line, and then same on this side. It's that, and then it's not. And there you go. That's the beginning of how to hack the mesh. Now, let's take the doors off of it, because I wanted to demonstrate one other thing with mesh hacking before I called it and get this video ready to post. So, we're going to go into the body, and we're just going to take the doors completely off. And with the doors completely off of it, now it looks like some kind of little, safari wagon type thing. All it's missing is the roll bar set up on the top. And you can, again, you'll see there's holes in the mesh like there and there that we can go in and close up in Blender later if we want. If we decide this is something permanent we want to keep. But, next important thing. If I do Control B in the game, it shows me the beam structure for the vehicle. And you can see there's beam structure for the whole roof, and those B pillars that we chopped out, and the C pillars, and the tailgate pillars. Like, the whole vehicle has this beam mesh that defines how it collides with the world and how it bends and interacts when you crash it. So, that brings us to our next tool. And I think, let's go ahead and show that again. So, that's my fault for the video software, I wasn't paying attention. But here's what we're at so far. We've chopped the roof off and taken away door panels and tailgate and glass and so forth, because we just want to see the body shell the way we wanted to modify it, right? Now, little tip, whenever you're hacking a car like this, because you'll have to reload multiple times, I like to overwrite it as my default. That way I can quickly spawn into a map and I get this car again. Now, we're going to close Blender, and it will complain about you didn't save all your changes. That's fine, we don't care. Then we're going to go into a utility that comes with BeamNG. You might have to kind of hunt for it to unpack it, but it's the Beam Node editor. And the Beam Node editor is exactly what it sounds like. So we're going to open the J-beam for the roamer, and we want the roamer body J-beam. So this directly correlates to this. You can see the similarity between the two, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start chopping parts. Because we've chopped parts, and that's what we're going to continue to do until everything matches up the way it's supposed to. We're going to delete those. There we go. Oh, it might have been a bit aggressive. Let's try that again. Open J-beam. Alright, here we go. Let's start where we started on the, actually no, let's not. Let's do it the right way. So what I'm going to start with is selecting all of the center of that roof and getting rid of it. Goodbye. Now we're going to find a lot of nodes inside there that we might want to keep just to save the structural rigidity of the vehicle. But then there's some that we know we're not going to keep. Like these three. Goodbye. And their counterparts on the other side. And the middle of the tailgate. And those two. Oop. See, I grabbed one too many. We're going to undo those four. Now we can shift nodes as well, which is always helpful. You can move stuff around a little bit. And I'm not sure what I want to do with the door panel crush area. I think I'm going to leave it more or less alone. Except I'm probably going to move these guys down. And back a little bit. It's okay if you want to come up with a different way to change the shape of your vehicle, or if you're working on a different vehicle, you want to make sure that you've got things kind of lined up the way you like. And it doesn't have to be exactly like the body shell of the vehicle you're working on. As you can see, this doesn't bit for bit line up, but that's okay. Because this is sort of the game engine's guideline for how it's going to collide with objects and how it's going to interact with objects in the game world. So it doesn't necessarily mean that if it's not 100%, your vehicle's not going to perform exactly. Now, you do have to have things right, but it's not neurosurgery precise. So we're going to save as J-beam in the correct folder. Yes. And then, like I said, you're going to do a lot of unload reload. Anytime you modify a J-beam, I found best to go in and reload the map. When it pulls up, because we set our default vehicle, we can now see the modified beam structure. I need to actually cut those one step lower. See? So, go back into the beam editor, and we're going to select these little guys, and we're just going to get rid of them. Bye. Let's go back and look again real quick. Kinda not digging that. That looks a little bit more like what I want to see. We'll see how it does. It may be really, really weak. Save it. And then again we reload. And when it loads the level, we'll see the new beam structure. So all I did there was modify the beams, add some so that hopefully it doesn't spaz out right in front of the back tire now. Oh, and now I've broken it completely. And that happens sometimes too. I don't know how, but sometimes that does happen. So what we're going to do is go into Vehicles, Roamer, Vehicle. We're going to close the beam editor too. Roamer, body J-beam. Into that folder, replace it. And free roam. Now it should come back up correct. But we're back to the stock beams. So we got to figure a couple more things out. And probably be a little less aggressive on deleting beams. Just because it is the structure of the vehicle and all. Alright. So J-beam. Vehicles. Roamer. And body. Okay. So we're going to start by chopping it down kind of trophy truck size. Again, anytime you edit a J-beam, safest bet is just load the map again. That's why I use the tiny grid map. It's fast to load. Okay, so that now gives us the opportunity to start taking out some of the roof pieces. I do want to be careful. We want to make sure that we get rid of collision triangles, but don't destroy the total structure of the vehicle. So we're going to do super small rectangle select, and we're going to take the rest of the roof off. And there goes our collision triangles, and now we've got some spurious beams here that I want to get rid of. Oop, I think. No, I did not want to do that. Uh-oh. Close. Alright. Save frequently. So I'm pretty sure those nodes and beams are the tops of the seats. But I don't know for sure. And what I do know is that I want to add some beams in here. Help strengthen that. That's going to be sort of our imaginary center point for overall body rigidity, because anytime you chop the roof off of something, it gets a little hairy. Okay, now we saved the J-beam. Again, that was kind of an aggressive edit. I should have done much fewer steps. But again, it's also kind of a pain in the butt to have to reload every time. And here, I've broken it again. Oh! Here's a funny little thing that the beam editor does. It'll put your additional beams up here at the top of the file for honestly kind of stupid reasons. So you have to copy them and put them in the beam area. Humps, nodes. There we go. Beams. Save J-beam. Then we reload again. Okay. Oh, that's fun. Need to anchor that somehow. So that center point's bouncing around all crazy. See, added the beams there again. Reload again! Again and again and again. And each time, pray we don't break it. Oop, see, I caught it. Otherwise I would have broke it. I've broken it again. And if you break the J-beam, here, we're just going to do display capture. If you ever break the J-beam like this, where things are all wrong, like all wrong, go back into the zip file and pull out the one that you've broken and replace it. It's that easy. Don't freak out. That's why you make small edits. Okay. Vehicles, rover body. So right around the rear wheel wells on this truck is super touchy about how everything fits. So I think we're going to leave that alone, actually. And we're also going to add all the way down here in the beams. Okay. The node and beam editor is really tricky to use. You have to make sure to unselect the tool that you have at the moment to then begin working with the tool you've chosen. I'm getting kind of frustrated because I delete nodes and then it crashes the vehicle, like it breaks it breaks a lot of things on the vehicle. So I'm going to try this. And now we're going to select that bunch, and we're going to go further down them. Moving stuff instead of deleting it sometimes is preferred. Because in a lot of cases you still want your collision triangles in some places, and you still want the rigidifier beams in certain places. Say J-beam. And there's actually two ways to try and reload the J-beam. First is you can pick a different vehicle and then load your default again, or the same vehicle you were working on. So I got two in the back that should come down a bit more, it looks like, and a rigidifier node that can come way down. But that's now made a convertible. So let's look at the editor again. Let's show the node IDs, node names, not IDs. And same here, P8R and P8L. P8R, P8L. Save the J-beam. Oh, I think I went the wrong direction. Negative is up. Okay, so sometimes the beam editor lets you down. won't do what you want it to do. You have to go in and manually edit one or two little things. And so we're going to do that. P8L. Oop. There it is. Alright. Default. And now those beams are fixed. So, now we have a convertible roamer. It's actually kind of hard to roll the thing. Let's do this. Nice. That's what we go for when I chop the roof off of something. So that's mesh hacking.